Hello, YTPC. Joshua Stewart smoking a pipe up north in the woods. Oh, wait. Hello, YTPC. This is Joshua Stewart. Pipe up north. Yes, that's right. I did a little name change to the channel. I've been thinking about it for quite a while. And when Josh at Gentry Vintage did his, it kind of said, yeah, I got to do that too. So I'm um, bowing to peer pressure. Actually, there was no peer pressure. I've been thinking about it for a while. But why am I changing the name? Well, smoking a pipe up north in the woods, that's a mouthful. So I was just thinking, trying to compact the name down a little bit into something that was a little bit easier. And the pipe up north, that kind of fit in the handle that YouTube makes us use for when we're um, tagging somebody in a video or something. So I thought it'd be a good idea to just have that and the channel name match a little bit closer. And then the other part of the reason is I haven't been able to video as much up north in the woods as I would like. So I felt that as of this point, the channel name wasn't quite accurately reflecting what's actually being made for videos. I'm looking because I'm expecting my wife to be coming home any time here, so in fact she might be out there. Hold on a second, let me check. Okay, there was a car in the driveway, but it was my daughter, not my wife. She just got done babysitting for a little while, and then she's gonna be going out and doing some stuff for a fundraiser with the youth group at church here shortly. So anyway, channel name change. Um, there she goes. From smoking a pipe up north in the woods to just pipe up north. It just kind of seemed like say, simplify things and a little bit more accurate to what we're actually doing. Because even though I'm down south in the shop, I'm still closer to the North Pole than the equator. So, and I'm probably further north than I'd say easily 90% of the people that are watching. So. Anyway, with Josh at Gentry Vintage, he posed a question on a recent video about what do you collect? And boy, do I collect. I grew up in a family of antique collectors. My mom and dad were both avid antique collectors. My dad he was collecting toys before it was cool to collect toys. And he when he was a young adult and he was buying all these toys, they were like, "Well, you don't have any kids." They were toys like he would have played with when he was growing up. And he was almost ashamed to say that no, I'm buying them for me, not to play with, but he would enjoy, especially like the farm toys, the die-cast tractors and stuff like that. He would a lot of times restore them and put them on a shelf. He had quite a collection of those, and he collected some of the full-size antique tractors too for a number of years. I think at one time he had over a dozen that he'd, at one time, I mean, he'd restored many dozens over the years, but I think he had a dozen of them or so at one time that were mechanically restored, and probably half of those were painted up all nice and looking like when they came off the factory floor. And he also collected the old hit and miss engines. At one time he had over 100 of those, probably a third or half of them he had in running condition. But he's downsized quite a bit. As many of you know, the farm is no longer available for storage of the hobbies that take up a bunch of space for him. So he's only going to be keeping one tractor and 5 of his hit and miss engines that are his favorite. Actually, the engines I helped him move last weekend, which those things are heavy. But at least they're all on carts, so they're not that difficult to move. But he was commenting how back when he was first restoring those, how probably less than half of them had the carts underneath, and he would just have to manhandle them around. And then my mother, she also collected a lot of different things over the years. She had quite a collection of postcards, like Victorian era and turn of the century, especially like the holiday postcards, like the Christmas and Valentine's Day and Halloween, and the art on some of those is just beautiful. And in more recent years, she got into collecting old treadle sewing machines. I think she said at one time she had over 40 of them, which obviously she's got to liquidate that collection now too, and just probably keep less than 5 of her favorites now, just because there's no place to go with them. And one thing that was interesting that she collected when I was a kid, I mean, she still has the collection, that is kind of relates to this channel, is she collected tobacco tins. And she never smoked a day in her life, but she just appreciated the art on some of those old tins from probably especially the pre-World War II. I have no idea how many she has in her collection. Probably at least 50, if not 100, that are all different. And there again, they have to downsize pretty drastically as they're moving. So I commented when I was helping do some moving last weekend. I said, well, now that I'm kind of getting into the pipe smoking, how would you feel if I would, take over your tobacco tin collection? And she got all excited. Oh, that would be awesome. That would be great. So sometime probably in the next few weeks, I'll be getting a pretty good collection. And I told her, if there's some that are, I know she's got some that are worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It's like I'm not that serious into it that I need the really valuable ones. I just, like she did, kind of appreciate the artwork on those old ones. And then she wants to keep a few for herself to put in a small display in their new house. You know, they're hers. She can do with what she wants. So she was pretty excited. I was interested in taking that over. But as far as my collections, like I said, we grew up as in a family of collectors, and my parents were antique dealers. When I was younger, it was pretty much flea markets and swap meets that we'd go to pretty much every weekend from April through September or October. We'd go someplace in about a 200-mile radius. Of course, when mom and dad are at their booth trying to sell stuff, there was four of us boys that were 6 years apart, oldest to youngest. So they kind of encouraged us to become collectors ourselves. I think looking back, it was as much just to keep us out of their hair while they were trying to sell stuff. But looking back, there was also probably a secondary thing that it helped to teach us some good negotiating skills. Because, of course, when you're at a flea market or swap meet, the price it's on something, that's just a starting point. So what you pay should be less than what the price tag says. So we would go around with dad sometimes, and he would kind of wheel and deal and kind of picked up a few of the tricks of the trade and learned how to do it ourselves a little bit. And when I was younger, one of the first things that I started collecting was beer cans, which it's maybe a little inappropriate for how old was I at the time? 8 years old to be collecting beer cans, but I was pretty avid into it for a few years and started out with just, you know, buying fairly common ones that were, I guess at that time you could buy them for a quarter pretty easily. Sometimes two for a quarter. Just, and then we would walk the ditches on our road because we grew up, say, near the gravel pit that has expanded into my parents' place. And back in the early 80s, it used to be quite the party place. So the road between our place and the gravel pit was usually pretty well littered with beer cans. So we would go through there and see if there was something interesting or unusual that I didn't have in my collection yet. I think the neighbors thought we were just being good citizens and picking up, but we left about 90% of them behind because they didn't fit in the collection. Then as I got older, I was getting into the more of the older beer cans, and I ended up getting a few that were quite valuable. And I think by the time I kind of phased out of it, I had, I think, about 500 different beer cans. Which is interesting that Josh at Gentry Vintage brought this up, because I brought back several hundred of them just this weekend that were in the barn at mom and dad's that were clearing out. So I may end up liquidating most of them. I'm just keeping maybe a couple dozen of my favorites. And because more recently, as I got into adulthood, I started collecting antique woodworking tools. I've shared a few of them on the Codger and a Corn Cob and Tool Time Tuesday, and I'll be sharing more as the days go on, or years, months, days, weeks, whatever, as time goes on. We're 15 minutes into this already, and haven't even told you what I'm smoking. As you can see, I got another Missouri Meerschaum Legend. These kind of seem to be my go-to pipes lately. I guess more than anything, the reason I'm going to them is because just the size of the bowl is about right for the length of the smoke that I want. Because it seems like most of my briars, the bowls are way bigger. And a lot of my little ones burn hot, it seems like. So kind of avoiding them. And in it, some Warhorse Bar. Become quite fond of this blend. Mittens is sitting on his perch up there looking out. I was wondering if the if the wife was coming home yet, but I don't hear. But anyway, kind of going back to my mom with her tobacco tins. So as I've been picking up the pipe, I've been getting a couple of tobacco tins here and there when I can pick them up cheap. And it was Father's Day this past weekend, so we stopped at a flea market on our way up north to the woods because it was Father's Day. I get to do whatever I want. I wanted to go up to the woods for the day. And along the way, there's a place that has a flea market every weekend. Pretty big on the holiday weekends, but not a lot on the off weekends. But there's still a few dozen people there set up. And one of them, I found this old Three Nuns. The guy that was selling it said he got it from a Canadian, so it's probably a Canadian tin. But I don't know how old it is. It's got the WD and HO Wills. I don't know if the Three Nuns Empire, if that was a particular blend or what it was, but and I didn't bother to utilize my negotiating skills for that. You know, maybe it's only worth a quarter, but it was worth $3 to me, so. And then I went by another dealer, and I was looking at a few of the tins that he had on the shelf, and they were interesting, but he didn't have any prices on anything, so it's like. And none of them were anything that really super excited me, and I know all of them are ones that Mom has in her collection too, so. But then I looked at the next shelf down, and holy cow, there's a box full of pipes. Probably about 20 of them in there. asked the guy, well, how much are they? He says, well, how much are you willing to give? I don't like playing that game. I like the seller sets the price, and then it's my job to knock them down. So, but I said, oh, a couple bucks a piece. Pick out a few. And he's like, oh, no, can't do that. And finally he says, $5 a piece. So it's like, okay. And that's why I picked out 4 of them, and I'll show them to you right now. First one, I haven't done anything to clean these up or anything, but we got a Dr. Grabo. What is this one? Crown Duke. I believe that's a filter pipe. I should just leave these on because I'm going to need them again. Fairly large. I think it's like a 13/16 diameter bowl. It's stem or mouthpieces got a few bite marks and stuff, but it'll clean up okay. Because a lot of them in that box were not very good shape. And this one, that was kind of interesting. It's got the, what is that, octagonal bowl. And I haven't been able to find a name on it yet. There. It may have been one at one time and got buffed out too or something, who knows, but same thing. I mean, not the greatest shape, but I mean, there's enough there to clean it up and make a good usable pipe out of it. And what do we got here? Brewster, Little Dublin. That's I think it was only 11/16 diameter on that bowl. So this, and it's got enough meat on the side there that I don't think it'll smoke too hot. So, and mouthpiece is in a little bit better shape than some of the other ones. So, though there is a big flaw and fill down here, but I bought them as smokers, not for like a high-end collector piece. So I'll clean this one up, and that'll be a nice one for a smaller, quick smoke. And then the last one I got was this one. Oh, we got a Willard. Oh, and there again, I mean, the stem, I don't know if you can see that or not. A lot of little teeth chatter and stuff on there, but hopefully that'll clean up okay. But see, I picked it out just because it's a nice small bowl for a quicker smoke, and it's got a little bit of meat to it, so it shouldn't hopefully smoke too hot. So I had a few more to put in my drawer for pipes that are going to need to get refurbished. But yeah, we're running way long here again, so new channel name, Pipe Up North. And so yeah, I've been a collector my whole life too, just like Josh at Gentry Vintage. So with that, about double or triple as long as I'd like to be on this video. I hope you watched it double speed or speed and a half or something, so I didn't waste nearly a half hour of your day. But I'm going to enjoy the rest of this Warhorse bar. And I'll let you go on with your day. So this is Joshua Stewart, Pipe Up North. You have a good day.